Now, Census will be counting everyone within the borders of the country. The project is expected to see about 160,000 field workers counting the population from February the 3rd, that is tomorrow, to the 28th. And we take you now to Rooigrond prison in Mahikeng in the Northwest Province, where our reporter Sentleeng Lehihi is standing by. Sentleeng, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Definitely a lot of work is going to be done tonight. It not only just begins tomorrow, when everyone else will be able to have access to the system. But tonight, there is work that is being done in prisons as well as hospitals. Tell us about what's expected there at the Rooigrond prison.
Good afternoon to you and our viewers. We're here just outside Rooigrond prison near Mahikeng. We are here ready for the census night to begin. You must understand that this is one of the most important days or periods in statistics here in South Africa, where all those who find themselves within the borders of this country will be counted within the census that is going to be collated. You have said it correctly there that census night begins essentially with the counting of people in transit and in special dwellings, particularly looking at those living in prisons, those living in old age homes, those who are currently in hotels and, transiting between the different borders across the country. We understand that through the engagements between Stats SA and the Department of Correctional Services, there have been arrangements made there to stop the transfer of prisoners between the different prisons from the 30th of January to ensure that those who are kept in-house are counted adequately, they having their names collected, their gender, having their race, and the number of years that they've currently been incarcerated. But to have a better understanding on the work that is at hand for the various field workers who will be out in the streets, out in the different institutions, counting or enumerating the residents or the populations that find themselves in South Mahikeng. We are joined by Ntate Philemon. Ntate Philemon, thank you so much for your time. You are the stats head here in this province. There's quite a lot of activity that is going to begin with census tonight.
Yes, our preparations are well advanced at the moment. It's a big day for us. It's a big day for South Africa. You know that census is very big. So today we'll be counting all the people that are in special dwellings, and we will all be counting people that are homeless, and then we'll also be counting people that are in transit. So at the moment we are not doing the count. Today we just came to the institutions to make sure that we give them the sense of what type of records we will require. There have been some preparations before to make sure that come tonight, everyone that slept in all these institutions that I mentioned, the hotels, the guest houses, the hospitals, and including those that are going to sleep in the police cells, they are going to be included in our census records. So including the prisoners that are serving their sentences, and then what we want from them is that the prison management, they are recording the name, the surname, the sex of the offender, and then they also record particulars according to the age. We don't go into details as to the information of the individual consent.
Indeed, we understand that by tomorrow morning you will have all this information collated. But tomorrow is D-Day for all the ground forces to be actually hitting the ground running and ensuring that they enumerate all those finding themselves in South Africa. Which areas are you particularly concerned about looking at the dynamics of the Northwest Province?
Basically, we are. I will say that we are ready. There's no area of concern per se. There are still some areas where we still lack field workers here and there. Some are still in training, but I think by the end of this week, we'll make sure that we hit the ground. We hit the ground running. So the South Africans, please open doors for Stats SA field workers. They will identify themselves with the green clothing that they are having. Is a green cap, it's a green bib, and then also they are using digital devices, the tablets, that will be basically collecting the information. Remember, for the first time we are having a census where we are going digital. South Africans have a choice to register themselves. They still have a choice to register themselves until the 5th of February this month to make sure that they can count themselves, or if they don't want to count themselves, they still have to register to state that they need someone to call them from Statistics South Africa, or they want someone to visit them. So registering is very much important, so that we also get a sense of how people would like to be enumerated in the census.
Over and above the warnings that you've sent out to the public about how they can identify the officials, if indeed they're authentic officials, what other steps or stakeholders are you involved with to ensure that if there's any element of criminality, it is nipped at the bud?
We have engaged the security cluster. We have been in talks with them over some months now. And the South African Police Service, they've promised that they are going to assist us greatly. And they have also been sharing some information according to the areas of hotspots of crime where we have to be very much vigilant. But over and above that, the gadgets that the field workers are using, they will become very much useless if they are not in the hands of someone from State SA, because they are remotely controlled and they can be tracked. So if the gadget is lost, all the information that we get from the respondents, we are then remotely accessing that information and wiping it out. But it won't be that much useful to anyone else.
As a numbers man, I think that you are among those who are waiting with a bated breath to see the final outcomes of the enumeration of 2022. But looking back at 2011, we saw some significant aspects about the Northwest Province. Unlike many other provinces in the country who've lost populations to Gauteng, we see that the Northwest Province's population has grown between the previous census and the 2011 census, where we've seen that because of the mining activities, because of agricultural activities, there's quite an attraction to many to live in this area. Further than that, we also see that just after Gauteng as number one, the Northwest Province finds itself as number two with a large population of non-South African citizens. What other interesting aspects have you picked up from 2011 that you think may also show themselves in this 2022 census?
One of the things that you do as statisticians when you're doing a big project like the population count is that we don't want to speculate. Whatever that we get to from the field is the information that is going to inform policy, is going to inform planning. So whatever that we have been observing, the trends from 1996, 2001 and 2011, we still want to see if those trends, they are going to manifest themselves in 2022 census. But we don't want to speculate to say there might be an increase or there might be a decrease in whatever form. But one thing that we are very certain about is that we want to count everyone within the borders of South Africa, especially in the Northwest, such that we get our numbers very much correct.
Thank you so much for your time, Abut Philemon. That was Ntate Philemon, the head of Stats SA here in the Northwest Province, explaining to us how they're actually collating all the statistics of those living in special dwellings, from prisons to hotels to old age homes, and also counting those who find themselves within the South African borders in all the different borderlining areas there to ensure that they're all counted. He's also sent out some quite significant pointers to all those who will be expecting home visits from the ground forces, that there are ways that you can verify if these people that are coming from Stats SA into your house are actually authentic members of the census collaboration, to ensure that no elements of criminality are done. But as I mentioned to you before, we're out here in the Rooigrond area, where we're just standing in front of the Rooigrond prison. Due to strict security measures that have been taken, neither the SABC journalists or members of Stats SA will be allowed into the prison premises, but they'd rather be given the collated information or databases over through the official network. But from now here in Rooigrond prison, back to you in studio.
All right, that's our reporter there, Sentleeng.